on this episode, you're going to need a motherfucking fire extinguisher to put out all the fire we put out on this podcast.
Bullet point after bullet point. What's your inner circle look like? Don't skip the process.
Yeah, banger after banger.
You're going to win. Your team's going to win.
Yeah. All I do is win.
All we do is fucking win.
Yeah.
It's a good ass show.
It is.
All I got is, the juice is temporary, but,
How's it go?
Fuck, I forgot it. But anyways, the juice is temporary, but the sauce is forever, and the sauce right now is a fucking process.
And this is an unlimited juice box. Let's go to the show. Brought to you by MaxEverMuscle.com. Bye. We are live for another Roundtable. I'm your boy Corey G. At Small Arms Danny. At Trey Speed in the graphic gangster himself, Cole Susak. What's good, fellas?
Sup.
Thanks for retweeting that.
Yeah.
Just live on Twitter. I love being able to have the live show too.
Yeah, dude, I think if anyone listens to this podcast and you haven't taken advantage and watched one of these lives, man, you're kind of missing out, honestly.
Well,
You get to watch the show before it comes out.
Correct.
So Jake Holland always says that. He's like, hey, I just listened. He's like, I watched the whole live. And I was like,
hell yeah.
I have to listen to it when it comes out.
Well, and the fact that we're now scheduled like every Friday too, they can count on it. Friday by 9.
Yep.
We're probably going to be here on my Twitter.
And now there's a ton more, great quality content on the Lunge and Learn Network.
Facts.
We got shit all the time.
Yeah, the Lunge and Learn Network really is. It's coming up.
It's coming up.
It's coming up.
It's good.
It's good. Well, that's a great way to segue. Like me and Cole both have been listening to the I Am Athlete with Fat Joe. Shout out Brandon Marshall. Like those guys are killing it. Shady McCoy's really good too. I haven't really heard him on the mic before, so he's really good. Boom is friends with Shady, and he said he was awesome. So it's cool to be able to hear him. But one of the things that Fat Joe talked about, first off, I didn't know Fat Joe brought on Pitbull, Trick Daddy, Big Pun. I think everybody knew about, but he had put a lot of people on. And so, like, way more than I realized. And I actually forgot about this. Rachel reminded me. She's like, we saw Fat Joe when we was in Miami. And I was like, we did? She's like, yeah, we was at that one event. I was at, I literally was at this charity event at some dude's house that was like $30 million, and Fat Joe performed at it. And there was like,
that's amazing.
There's like, I don't know, 100 people there. Wow. But anyway, so yeah, random flex. But so
you have the most random stories.
I have so many random stories. Dude, there was a whirlwind for a while, so I forget a lot of them. But anyway, so what I loved about what he talked about was he was like, everybody should be like a crutch. And I was kind of like thinking, like, where's he going with this? And he was like, look, when the main guy's moving, but everybody's growing and eating, that if you falter a little bit, everybody got a crutch so you can get leaned on. Like, basically, if the NFT stuff blows up, but involved, then I can lean on you guys a little bit because you leaned on me when my shit was popping and Danny's shit's popping. It's like what he was talking about is everybody's getting better. So not everybody's popping at the same time. That's not how this works, right? Like, because Max is popping doesn't mean the podcast is popping. But if the podcast is popping and Max ain't, guess what's going to happen? Mm-hmm. You see what I'm saying? They're all popping right now. But you know what I'm saying? Like, that's not how it works all the time. You got 3, 4, 5 killers in the room, and they're developing into fucking killers, then it's a win it all type of thing. So I didn't realize that he looked at things like that. And Cole texted me like, yo, this is us.
Yeah.
I'm like, yeah, it is us, 100%. Especially as you guys are getting older, more mature in your game too, like in all the last few years, how we've been building all this stuff and building this together, right? The reps for a year, building it. Now we're putting together the packages for advertising, holler at us. So it's like, so it's one of those things where it really resonated with me. That's why I put on my story that, yo, this is an entrepreneurial masterpiece. And they hollered at me, reposted it, whatever. I was like, this thing is like really good because a lot of people are just thinking about themselves, but you got to have the right squad around you. He also said something that was real cool. He's like, yeah, man, I was in Puerto Rico with like 50 people. And then I had a meeting and said, I ain't got it anymore. Like the money ain't right. Like we can't be, I brought down 2 private planes. He's like, only 6 motherfuckers really stayed. So understanding that, like the people that you do have around you, and if everybody's about to work, and then different things are going to pop off at different times. So I don't know, it resonated a lot with me with what I think what we are building right now between all these entities and different partnerships and just like all the people involved around this thing in general right now. It made me feel real good about how it's moving.
Yeah. It made me think, because like in here, everyone wants each other to be the best and to be a dog at what they do.
Yep.
Like I want Danny to be a fucking dog at emails, so
Yep.
then I make dog graphics and it
Yeah.
all works cohesively.
Facts.
So you got to kind of like look at like your friend group and stuff like that. Like if your one friend's going to be like a physical therapist, like you want him to be the fucking best.
Yes.
And they talk about
They
like
talk about that.
they want everyone, like if there's someone running a car dealership or someone's a barber,
Yep.
they want them to be the best. So if they need something, they can go to them. Like, oh, I got a guy. You need a
Yes.
lawyer? Got a guy.
It's like the whole network raises
Everyone
up.
feeds off that. Yes.
That was always like a running joke with me after like my business got rolling. Hey, Corey got a guy. Oh, you need that? Corey got a guy. Because that's the one thing I always did well was network, especially in personal training, because you meet all these people that own all these businesses. Because they're, so a lot of the clients I had did all sorts of different stuff. And so I think when your network feels real strong, then it's super valuable, more valuable than you realize. I really like the part about building everyone up. So then like something's always popping though, because not everything's hot all the time. It's not the way it works.
Yeah.
So that to me and that development, right? Like I always look at it like a two-way street with you guys, especially that the skills that all of you possess are different than me. Some are the same, some are different. Also, the ages are so different that it's like I can teach you, but you're also teaching me. You know what I mean? When it comes to like what's relevant, what's good, you guys are teaching me about this new stuff. Like it's one of those things where when people can understand that it is two-way like that, no matter where the hierarchy is in business or how long we've been doing stuff, constantly learning and evolving is so key, and truly wanting everybody to win. That's a big difference.
Yeah.
Huge.
You know what I mean? That's a big
Wanting
difference.
everybody to win and not just leaving one or two people out.
Exactly. And just wanting everybody like that's the thing is, so once I got some money, I still want more, but once I got some money is you realize that you don't want to be the only dude with money. You don't want to be the only dude in your group that has has that freedom to do stuff. No one wants to be the only dude with cash. I'm telling you, because it's no fun. I want Cole to pay for dinner sometimes. You know what I'm saying? Like I want, I'm just, but it's.
I will be.
I'm just playing, but it's the thing. The key is that you want to be able to be like, if we're like, yo, we're all going to fucking Pebble Beach, and it's just like, oh yeah, cool. I got a G on that. We're good. Like, you know what I mean? Like that.
Yeah.
But when it's like that though, because the whole team is eating, it's different. You move different.
Yeah. One thing they were talking about on the show, so they have chef who like is there like cooking and stuff like that. You watch it, right? So basically like they're talking about like trying to support her and like open up like her like store, like her like, restaurant or whatever, food truck, whatever it may be.
That was like
right?
a good exercise too.
And they were breaking down basically like they were talking all the business, but the main thing is that they wanted her to have her own stuff. So that way she could, grow her own thing, but then it's a trickle down effect. They can get more people from their community, more people they want in their circle to work within that, and everyone grows.
When they have all the social media that can put it on blast because they can utilize each other, which is similar things that we've talked about, right?
Yeah.
So the one thing I really took from Shady though on that was he was one like, yo, I got 5. And then they was acting like everybody else is throwing 20 at her. And he's like, and Fat Joe or one of them was like, but it's because you don't believe all the way. He's like, yeah, I think you got to bootstrap it. He's like, I'm doing all these real estate deals and you're seeing these big numbers, but we had to start with the $30,000 house to figure it out, because a lot of guys with the NFL money, they jump to here, but they don't got the skill to be there. So he's like, we lost money here, rolled back here, figured it out.
Yeah.
Now we're here and killing it.
Yeah.
That process, you can't jump the process.
Yeah. And he was talking about basically they were buying like $1 million houses trying to flip them.
Yeah.
And they weren't at that scale yet. Like they weren't experienced enough to do it.
Yeah.
So they dropped it back down to like, $70,000 houses, just trying to build that up, learn and do all that stuff. So
it's so important. Like you have to go through 2 years in the morning refining your skill to get the confidence to go. Same with the graphics, same with the email, same. You have to go. You cannot jump that process. That's how you build it. That's the whole book is about that we've been working on, right? Is because if I can't confidently make these decisions if I don't go through that stuff. And I like how he returned it back to that. He's like, why would we be giving her 300 right now just to have everything the way she wants it? That's not really, I don't know that's the answer for really anybody.
Yeah.
So you even though that process is the hardest part, that's where you learn the most.
Yeah. That's where the true gangsterness comes from.
Mm-hmm.
Like that's where those reps and figuring things out, because there's a lot of experiences that I went through that if you just try to put me in the position me now and not going through that, I would fucking fall. I would have no idea like what's going on.
Sure.
So there's a lot of small intricate things that you learn and pick up over time that will help you out once gets to the bigger scale. And
I was reading in some book a long time ago about, and I've talked about this, where the line just can go straight up, right? It's got all these detours. And I'll tell you that I think one of the things about MP not ending kind of the way I wanted it to is maybe, and this is just I financially didn't have near the game that I do now. Not even fucking close at that point in time. So I just wonder, even if it was dropped on me like I expected or thought it was supposed to, even if I would have been able to handle it. Like, I'm sure I would have probably figured it out, but the reality is, not like I would have been acting like Nelly or something, like rap star in it, but my financial skills grew a ton after I left that situation because it didn't end up the way I wanted to. Mm-hmm. And now, if things would go in the organic way, the same direction to those level of monies, like I wouldn't even be like nervous about it at all. We would scale it, we would do whatever. I feel like I would make really good decisions because I went through that and was forced. So to me, it's like, I look back at like, if somebody would have dropped like 20, 30 million on me, I probably wouldn't have fucking squandered it all, but would I made it in the 80?
Yeah.
I would probably now.
Or,
you know what I mean?
Imagine if someone, like, even before you got their first personal training gig, opened their own studio, if they just came and said, hey, do you want to make this, supplement company?
Yeah.
Imagine that.
No.
Like, that's what some people go to. They're just like, I'm just going to
Yeah.
go straight to starting this
No.
whenever they don't understand,
Dude, even just, building the studio like that. And when I did have the opportunity to start the supplements, like, oh yeah, like I had 10 years in the game already. It was a small, business, but the reality is the stuff I learned, once again, like we talked about in chapter 2 of the book we just did, like no one was coming to save me when I made a dumb marketing decision or, didn't structure my money right or whatever it was. Like I had to learn all those things. You cannot jump the process. You can read and it can help a little bit, but
you have to like just sit there and just work on your craft and just grind, because like you just see people, like for example, like someone could pick up just a camera and think that they could be a photographer like in a week because they took pictures one time, and the reality is that's not how that works, and it's not how it works with like a lot of things. Like
anything.
I was on Twitter the other day. I think I tweeted, it was like, motherfuckers will make $200 one day in the stock market and want to sell courses.
Yeah.
Like shit like that too. Like you have
That's
to you have to go through like ups and downs over like years,
a period of time.
Yeah.
No, and I mean, I think that with resources and the proper environment, you can what's that word, like expedite it or escalate it, whatever. Yeah, you can escalate it.
Yeah.
I'm on that track.
Get the chain out, Cole. Right, it's on that. Hey, it's on the escalate. We're escalating it. So, that was amazing. But yeah, it's definitely expedite it. And so you can expedite the process, but still there has to be those peaks and valleys that everyone's going to have to go through. Me and Danny talked about that from a personal side before. Like he's got it so good now. He's so in love. He's having the baby, the 1.2 dogs, picket fence, the whole nine. But he knows how it was before and now and so you can appreciate it and you can make better decisions. Like life, business, all that shit is the same, bro. Mm-hmm. But not knowing what you don't want sometimes is the best teacher.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I'm feeling that. I'm feeling that a lot right now. Yeah. But the one thing of like now what we got going on, me and Trey's project, it felt like everything was building blocks going up to this point. So most people whenever they're starting out, they're not seeing that like, oh, if I just like setting up an LLC, that's a building block.
Yes.
Like figuring out that process, then you get it in. And now we're talking about maybe hiring someone on and stuff like that. It's all levels. It's all levels.
And you got to travel through all of them.
Yep.
That's believing, back to kind of what we were talking about earlier, like believing that you're going to figure it out along the way is part of a confidence that you build through the reps, I think, because that right there is probably one of the biggest like ways that you like can kind of separate yourself, because when you take chances knowing you don't have it all figured out, because by the way, you're never going to have it all figured out, and that if you're confident that your team or you guys personally and I feel that I will figure it out. So people are like, hey, do you know what's going to happen there? No, but I'll figure it out. I'm like, why do you think you'll figure it out? Because I have to.
Yeah.
Because if we want, like some of the projects we got with Max, like I know there's a bunch of shit I don't know yet. Like when we scale this next kind of situation, we'll figure it out, and I'm gonna call somebody and they'll help me figure it out, or you guys will figure it out. Like we will figure it out. Yeah. There's this process with this book. We don't know all the process yet. We're gonna figure it out though.
We figuring it out.
We
doing it. We doing it right now.
Exactly. I'm attempting to read.
Yeah.
So it's like that. I think being comfortable with knowing that it is impossible to know all the steps. It is impossible. Even if you've done it before, I'm redoing it again in a different way with a supplements side, and there's still a bunch like shit I'm gonna have to learn. So I think the over-analyzation, parallelization part of it is because when you can't get to that, like, that's uncomfortable because I don't know that.
Yeah.
That's
just
all
like,
the time.
It's just like you have to go in and actually experience those things. It's like how people say, I guess like some people make the comparison like 4 years of like a business like degree in college versus like 4 years of actually just going in and experiencing like business. Like they're two
which is what you're doing.
Yeah, they're two totally different things.
And you did both.
I
which
did.
is
Yeah,
kinda,
I was
Pulled out
seeing
the best of both.
Yeah, you
I was
did.
seeing like the both ends of the sword.
Yeah.
So
Yeah, that was
But most people don't though.
most
No.
people, yeah, but it again, it comes back to levels, and it comes back to like it's just small, steady growth. Because you've said this a lot, growing too fast, like going to the highest level too early can be way worse than even just staying
It
small
is
and
the
going
same
through that.
as not growing. I'm telling you, like it has the same stressors. They're just different. Like they feel the same. Oh, it's not popping off. We got all this product. We can't sell it. Like our money's tight. Or it's selling too fast and we don't have enough talent and our money's tight. It's the same fucking problem. Money's tight. And but I'm telling you.
Can you talk about like that experience? Because you like told the story about.
Yeah. I think just forcing. So that the way that I explain it is, what we did. So if you look at like 100%, right? Like we forced the fuck out of it. We should have been like at 70%, which is like aggressive as shit. At Muscle Farm, aggressive as shit. Be on the UFC. Do all of these things that are like wild and work, but the reins need to be like a little bit, right? Just a little bit. Because when you're constantly fucking chasing your tail and your money and it is like you cannot make like quality decisions. Because it's just like when I think about going back to even like my mom, she was so stressed out all the time because of trying to make the rent payment. She can't really grow because she's surviving. It's the same fucking thing. I recognize the same feelings. When I'm like 100, I got to raise 100 to survive that week. Or I got to raise 100 the next week to survive. It's not the way to work. So to me, I think about these athletes. Tom Brady is a great example. And he's like, yo, it's moving slow. It's slowed down. I'm not in a rush. Nipsey said it all the time too. I'm not in a rush to get out victory lap. I'm going to make it about like the masterpiece of the music. Like it's going to be so great. And the foundation is going to be so good that motherfuckers wanted to pay 100 for a CD when he did the Proud to Pay. Like I wanted to build like this time around. I was like, we'll go to 20 or 100 million, whatever. I don't know, but I'm going to make sure that foundation is so good and it's lights out along the way that like I'm not. Look, if there's a time to, let me say, force it to grow, but feed it to grow. That's the difference. Forcing it is like you're just catching what's left. You know what I mean? So I don't know. That's because I'm glad I got the experience.
Because you said like each year was doubling or quadrupling. So each year was quadrupling. Yes,
for 4 years in a row.
Way too fast.
It's way too fast.
Fuck.
Yeah, that's why I tried
and this is on like a millions scale, correct?
Oh yeah, 1 to 4, 4 to 20, 20 to 70. So I mean, it was
and you're talking about how shit just flying everywhere. It's just
you can sell 70 million of anything, but if you spend 72, it doesn't matter.
Quote
it's
it.
just quote it. I mean, it's just a fucking fact. So like that experience for me, but yeah, quadrupling your growth every year for 3 or 4 years is insanity. It's like the thing you talk about with the penny. Do you want a penny more a day for, you know what I mean? It's like, that's what it felt like. And it's like impossible because it's just so wild. So like, I'd much rather, now I needed those experiences. Once again, those experiences were just preparing me for what's coming.
Yeah.
I know. That's why like when we have like serious situations here, I can at least reference those situations and come up with Fat Joe stories that I'd never told. You know what I mean? Like, there's a lot of those in there, but I think that that's only helping me teach you guys better, and then also me helping lead better as the businesses grow of what to do and how to operate. So yeah, once again, like, I look at those experiences and go, this was fucking literally, like, it sucked at the time, just like anything else, but the reality is, like, it's stuff that I could never replace.
Yeah.
And unless we're that crazy, I don't even experience.
For sure.
So
Yeah, I mean, like the sauce is in the process for sure.
it is in the process.
You know, because
That's
like,
why you shouldn't try to skip it.
Yeah, I mean, I spent 2 years packing sacks, counting test boosters out of the box, to then just take a table and even try to make graphics.
Yeah.
To then it was just a little small project after this, you know, stuff out of that, learning along the way, figuring shit out.
To a nine-year-old, what robotics class comes in yesterday to see the packing process from the local elementary school and is asking where the graphic gangster's at.
Yeah. He was also asking about small arms.
Yeah, that's where Small Arms Danny was too.
Yeah.
Then ask about us, Trey.
Yes.
We better get some better characters on the show.
Yeah.
But if you went to the playground, Trey, and showed them how fast you were, they would know Trey's speed.
You're it.
Fuck yeah.
No,
Yeah.
but that right there though that's an amazing evolution of not skipping the process. I mean, that's the thing is that everybody wants it so fast, and so did I. And I actually got to the start point relatively fast, but there was a crap load of hours in that 24 months. Very similar to you guys, especially, right? You guys came in that 2 to 3 period and put a crap load of work in the new environment. And like, that's how it was for me, like from the mine to like when I first got to Columbus and kind of into the first studio, it was all kind of like in a 2 to 3 year window. So then I could go, oh, this is going to work. Okay, it's working. Yeah. Now what level can it work to? Yeah. Does that make sense?
How long were you around before you started taking photos? Because you weren't you kind of got thrown into it real
I was
quick.
only here
couple
for
months, right?
No, it was like 2 weeks.
I thought it was a few
like
weeks.
2 weeks, I think, because I think I started taking pictures. I think it would have been the 2nd or 3rd week of that January, and I moved January 1st.
Got it. There you go.
So I got thrown in really fast. Yeah.
Yeah.
Forced to just adapt.
I remember that was a wild time.
Sink or swim.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I mean, Danny became a website builder pretty much overnight from fucking.
Yeah, that was quite the process. Yeah.
You know what I mean?
No, yeah,
But-
it just happened like that because I remember you're like Danny. You're like, someone named Danny is gonna call you. Danny just called me. And I saved Danny in my phone as Danny Corey Media.
Dude,
And it's been
What's
like
cra-
that, and it's been like that ever since.
That's
you know what's crazy is for like what 4 years, I hardly ever saw Danny in person.
I know.
I had only texted Danny,
Yeah.
He's at the coffee
or
shop.
like,
kid.
or you know, sometimes he would like come.
Facts.
You know,
Well,
Yeah,
the thing
it's
with
pop
Danny's
sometimes
Danny's
come on Friday.
evolution is I go to bring him into this business, and then immediately you guys are building a new Shopify site.
Yeah.
That wasn't like
oh yeah,
No.
it was like a week later.
It was-
We like
Yeah.
just turn the switch on.
I'm like, yo, dude, like I think it's time to bring you into Max. Like you've been working just solely in Corey G Fitness. You know what I mean?
And I think all of us, like us together, going through some hard shit like that and going through that, that's where the sauce is at. Like that's
Yeah.
why we're unfuckwithable now.
Facts.
You know?
I believe that. You gotta let the escalade in the process.
Everything,
Fucking
everything's
unfuckable.
gangster.
Yeah.
Everything's gangster. right
Everything
now.
is gangster. Gangster press. You created
Yeah.
your own press.
Dude, iconic. I'm
He
getting.
goes
Hey,
right to icon.
hey, did you hear about this? I made an exercise.
It's I programmed it. It's in the next
It's
stacked.
like it's going to be in the encyclopedia.
We're gonna have to do the
of
knowledge
gangsters.
bomb on it today.
Yeah,
Is
gangster
that okay?
press. It's
Yeah.
oh yeah.
I
So
can't wait to see it.
Making my
Danny, you
mark.
should come out and get in the knowledge bomb to experience the gangster
Maybe.
press.
Yeah, you should.
We'll see if it
That's the
requires
content.
biceps,
That's
we'll
the
see.
content they're here for.
that's me making my footprint in the bodybuilding community. I'm laying it in there. That's it.
Love it.
The people 100 years from now will open up the 4am crew encyclopedia.
Gangster press.
Encyclopedia of Jackness. They'll go to chest exercises, gangster press.
Jesus.
So
Oh, jeez. That's so good.
I could probably talk one thing about my
Please.
process.
Please,
is-
Danny, talk.
yeah,
Well,
please.
yeah. So like 2016 is when I got involved, obviously with
Mhm.
Core G Fitness and everything. And it's funny now because we're repurposing a lot of the old articles.
Oh, yeah, that you did initially.
Yeah, but like or like think back to your graphics
I
or
was-
your first pictures.
Oh,
right?
you're probably rereading what you wrote.
Yeah, I'm rereading what I wrote.
Oh, yeah,
I'm
yeah.
looking how I built an article. And I'm like, why the fuck did I do it like that?
Yeah.
And then so it's giving me a chance to go back and refresh them and make
Mm.
them look a lot better between the browser and the app and all this
Yeah.
stuff. So it's really funny to watch that. But I definitely got more. I went through like different phases of like different styles of like how I wanted to build
Yeah.
an article, and then it definitely made me more confident, especially when we updated the app several times.
Well, you
and
taught
everything.
yourself how to mildly code and stuff too. Like he's learned so much from being the editor of the site and the app. It's crazy.
Yeah, it's paid huge dividends. But then it led into like wanting to start my own little business and stuff like
course.
that with like Bar Shield and everything. But like, yeah, it's just like the process of like just simply starting the business, something that basic was so rewarding,
Very
and
rewarding.
it carries over to Shopify and helping other people and other projects and stuff like that.
I think also when everyone's excited and trust each other too, like that, you guys just immediately going to build the site like in a short period of time, putting a ton of work in, just like knowing it was go time. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
And really Trey going on the fly on a couple weeks and not even doing the skill, but saying, I'm going to figure it out because here's the opportunity. You know what I mean? And now he's done media for all kinds of fucking people, like all kinds of way more fucking like big time people than me. You know what I'm saying? Like, it's like amazing that it can start out that.
Yeah.
Because it could have been easier, like, man, I ain't trying to take pictures.
Well, because like now it's really interesting too, because it's a really effective strategy because everyone has their own lanes and stuff. So like when one's maybe not performing well, like you're protecting your downside because then like you were saying with the crutch thing,
Well, that's why I want to get the podcast back up to the level I know it can be plus some, because that was like one of my main pillars for like 2 years, roughly a year and a half. So it's like when that thing raises up, well, you guys are seeing investments I made during that time hit me right now. It's 3 years later. You know what I'm saying? Like literally the money from the podcast that went into the oil wells, that went into this real estate, like I'm getting paid on now. And that's what I want to happen again for you guys.
Yeah.
Because then it's like, yo, all right, the podcast made this month. I'm about to go buy another well. You guys want to jump in on it? Oh yeah, gee, I got 3. I'll throw on that.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. Everyone's eating. That's back to the point.
Let's get that
Everyone's
oil,
eating.
kid.
Yeah.
Let's get that oil.
Yeah.
So I mean that's but when you only have one, that's where people that say like multiple streams of income, I never really used to understand that back in the day. I'd be like, well, fuck, I got one job. I'm a personal trainer. You know what I mean? But then when you start to understand you're putting these skills together, and then you can let your money work for you. And once again with the crutch thing, when there's like 3, 4, 5 things pop in, one falls off. Like for instance, podcasting kind of fell off, right? It's not producing any money. We're still offering great content. We're giving good value, but it's not really a revenue source. It's like it's a teaching tool. It's good for max effort. It's good for us and reps, but it wasn't really a revenue source outside of our community, right? So now when it becomes a revenue source again, you're like, boom, add another stream. Now with that 20 racks, what can I do with it?
It's literally asset allocation.
It's exactly what
much.
it is.
That's what
And so when you start to look at passive income streams, the fucking steady streams from the businesses, and you start to look at that whole kind of landscape, that's how you can build like some real shit.
Yeah.
But we have to go through the next couple year process and build it up.
For
But
sure.
then once it's built and what we
Yeah.
can do with it can be
Yeah.
amazing. So I like that strategy in looking at that. And then I'm really feeling the strategy of getting the money back to me currently and knowing that I did the right stuff with it. You know what I'm saying? So
I
you're just repeating the process.
Yeah. I think one thing to highlight again is that like everyone here on this team, on this bus right now is like genuinely happy for and like rooting for each other.
Yeah.
How many times
Yeah.
have you seen that? Like people have come and gone and like it's like they're like secretly like wishing that they like aren't going to do as well or something like that.
Oh, yeah.
You know what I mean? Or
For
like your
sure.
friends or your friend circle,
Yeah.
whatever.
Well,
it
I
is.
think
Yeah.
like when I was sharing with you guys that you guys were like, I was like, yo, I'm not working tomorrow, meaning yesterday. And I told you why. And you're like, Cole's like, fuck yeah. I wouldn't work either. Like,
Oh yeah.
so it was like,
telling G to go to the hotel.
yeah, exactly. Hotel, motel. So it was like one of those things where, because when I feel like when you receive it the right way and you're not a hater, but you can learn from it, it's going to be you next. And that, you know what I mean? At some point you'll be like, I remember when G did that. Oh, we went through this process. Now I know how to do our book.
Yep.
You know what I mean? Or the way that we've structured things here, when you structure your own team inside of your business, like, oh, that's how we want it to feel. Like it, you know what I'm saying? So I think that I don't know, that right there is huge. It's very big. Yeah. Because culture is such like remember Hayden talked about this when you were probably listening when we were doing the podcast, like culture is like such a buzzword, but like then it's like until you really feel what it's supposed to feel like, it's kind of hard to like, I don't know. Words. Yeah, it is a little bit. It's easy to say. It's hard to build.
I was gonna say, how do you build it? Yeah, exactly. Yeah. You're not gonna get it right either.
I don't know because there's so many. Because it's the chess pieces.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah,
chess pieces have to be right.
There is no hatred. There's no hard feelings. There's no one like feeling like there's a cloud above you that someone is trying to keep you at the level you're at or anything like that.
Yeah, exactly.
Which that's what we've experienced before, and that's what we never want to have. And now it's like if like we want everyone to operate at the highest level, and we're pushing for that. We're always talking about that. So that's like the culture is like if someone cannot handle what's going on, they're at maybe having weak thoughts or something like that, we're there to basically be like, no, like we're not even like entertaining that, basically
smooths out, or to really be the one in the room that can push like the thought process of what's possible. I've heard you throw some crazy numbers out. I don't understand it all the way, but I'm like, well shit, if Cole believes it, I believe it.
There's an E on the calculator.
Hey, we fully fucking believe that. And there's another things like, why is it not us to go out there and do that?
Thank you.
And what even happens if we get 10% of that? What happens if we get 50%?
I mean, that's why I always keep saying I'm going to be a New York Times bestseller. Why not?
Yeah.
You think that there's like a lot more raw shit out here than what you guys are hearing in this book or reading? Come on, man. Like I know, I done been through it. I lived it. So now I'm just telling the stories. So it's like, I know if enough people can get onto it, it's going to be popular. Like I already know that. So that's why I'm like so like pushing and wanted to get it out, because I think the impact that can help. And like, so when I even say that out loud, to see myself on that list, it would be unbelievable, but I believe it. I believe that I lived through it. And, and these are like doing a book's really challenging for me, because I can't write or read that well. It's just the fucking truth. I'm just being real. So like I need a lot of help, and a lot of this stuff's difficult to talk about. So when I'm like, I can't wait till we launch it, at least on Amazon too, to see like what it could really do. Because I just had these feelings like, man, how's this title not fucking grab somebody? How's that first chapter not fucking lock them in? Like, how is it not, if you get through it, how does it not make you feel like a little some type of way? It's going to. It's impossible not to, because it's so real. And so like I do believe that I see guys like James Clear, I see the other dude, like the Alchemist dude. These motherfuckers done sold 20 million fucking books, bro. Like you're getting $4 a book or whatever it is.
Yeah.
Get out of here. Like it's crazy.
Yeah.
Like these dudes are living off one fucking book forever. Ever.
There's power looking at them and being like, I can absolutely do that.
A lot of
things we're doing right now is we're seeing what other people are doing. We're like, there's no way they don't work as hard as us, and they haven't thought like we
or it's at least equal to, right?
Yeah, there's no way that they're smarter than us, harder working or anything like that, or have like the branding or anything behind it. Like, why are we not at the top?
All that is a challenge to yourself, because you're
exactly
self-talking. Like there's no like, because that, and I think the same thing. I'm like, all right, like I know that I know that it's good, right? Because I lived it, right, and had to come on the other side. So if I can like relay it the proper way, that why can't it do the things that these other books have done that I've seen, or why? And so I think really talking through that process with yourself is super important, because then you're like, wait, am I doing that extra stuff I need to do to get to that spot? You know what I mean? Because you see them at that spot or whatever it is. So I'll tell you, one dude that's crushing right now is Ben Patrick. Just got on fucking Rogan, but amazing, right? Blew up his account. So shout out to Ben Patrick. He's killing it. And the one thing I'm taking from him is he's just continued down. He has not changed his process at all. And so if you notice, I'm doubling down on some of my processes that I know are unique. Lunge and learn, that kind of stuff, because no one else does it. And I know how beneficial it is. And that's exactly what he did. It's super inspirational because you've seen his evolution, and none of the stuff that he's talking about goes with conventional thought. It's not even fucking close. So I really love seeing that dude win because it's inspiring to me. And I'm an OG in the game compared to him, but the reality is he done figured it out, and it's like going. It's awesome looking.
Now on the flip side, so you can see what other people are doing, but me as like a designer and like stuff like that, I can't look towards anyone because there's no one doing exactly what I do.
Oh yeah, you
So
can't copy. You got to do your own thing.
And I feel like we're all like sort of an outcast
sure.
in our own way, you know. Like no one is fucking Donnie Traps making the graphic gangster and all this other stuff. So that's where I have to look out towards in the other industries, and be like, who's kind of like vibing like me.
Sure.
And that's where I look to the dude in LA, Mr. Cartoon,
Yeah, he's
the
awesome.
tattoo artist. He's kind of like his own little gangster in his own way.
Yep.
Then I really look up to RZA from Wu-Tang.
Yeah, RZA's
he kind of
awesome.
like paved that own way, did the whole shit.
The fact
way.
that RZA was in the Valley at one point is amazing.
It's unbelievable.
The fact that RZA was like pushing like mixtapes like at the local like Steubenville like whatever record store is fucking classic, bro.
Yeah.
Back in the 90s.
That's wild.
It is wild. But I think like what I like is the individuality. So that's the base off. There's not a lot of people in fitness that I can look at like that.
Yeah.
So that's a completely like different vibe, which even like when we were building MP, we never paid attention to any of their supplement companies. Max Effort, we don't pay attention to any of our supplement companies. People ask me who our competitors are. I don't even fucking know.
Our fucking selves.
Exactly.
Yeah.
Because we want to be great. We're going to be great. It doesn't have to do with, we're not on any shelves on purpose. We don't like sell on any websites on purpose. So it's about us. It's really not about anybody else. So I've really kind of so that's a great approach, because if you're, an individual and your brand is doing its thing, like, you can definitely get inspiration from people, but the reality is the uniqueness is what's going to take it to the top, I think, 100%. And if I had any inspiration, it was like Nike or Gatorade. It was never fucking, Metrex. You know what I'm saying? Like, and even with Max Effort, it's not going to come from supplements. It's going to come from like maybe clothing lines or like stuff like that's out there that's way outside of our industry. Or like the burlap, a lot of that idea kind of came from like Dollar Shave Club, like that kind of vibe. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
So it's not has anything to do. It's just business in general. So, but the reality is like I'm really trying to look inside me and figure out what is unique about me that no one can rip off. And that right there is the fucking real sauce, because when it's that authentic, then people can't copy it.
Yeah.
They can't even fucking try. I want to say, go ahead and try.
Real fucking authenticity is the cheat code.
The cheat code.
I will
100%.
fucking live. I will die by that.
It is the cheat code, which is why like I think what we've been doing with the audio is going to do so well in the book.
Yeah.
Because people can feel it, because you can't replace that.
And that's exactly why I feel like what we're working on is going to work.
There it is.
100%.
I fuck with it. It's exciting. What we're doing right now on this roundtable is fucking working
This
because
is
of
fucking
that.
heat right now. I'm feeling it right now.
Yeah. I mean,
Everything
it's
we do works.
facts.
And if it doesn't, we're going to make it work.
Yeah, we figured it out.
Yeah, we'll figure it out.
What do you think, Daniel?
It's good shit.
It is good shit, isn't it? I think it's like also the optimism, right, of like what's to come.
Yeah, and then just like ever since coming in physically to the office every day, like that leveled me up for sure.
Which, in some people, would probably be a deterrent. You had a lot more freedom in theory because you were outside the office. But to level up and be around the team, you needed to come to the office.
Yeah.
And I never used to be a big believer in that. But I mean, I'm here more than I've ever been
Like I was doing
for same purpose.
Yeah, I'd say like I was definitely doing like still like over delivering and stuff like out on my own. But like once I came in, I think I like, well, obviously we were thrown in the fire instantly. So like, but like it just like, I don't know, lit a fire into myself to like learn new shit, like different aspects of the business to start learning, and then obviously now applying.
Well, and also you're contributing as you're learning more, right?
Yeah.
Which is required for us to grow. We all have to get better.
And it keeps
including
your shit
myself.
exciting. Yeah, you know?
Oh, hell yeah. Absolutely. Well, and now it's like I call you like an email wizard. Like I think, you know what I'm saying? Like the things that you produce for like some of the investors and that, it's like, yeah, Danny's a fucking wizard. We went and got 10 racks on that email. Like,
Yeah.
that's what we do.
Yeah, Danny.
Like, the same way I talk about these guys, the same way I talk about him. Like, it's like at the end of the day, like whenever I'm relaying our information about our team, it's at the top because you guys have spent that time to be the email wizard and the graphic gangster. And Trey's Trey Speed, but he's gangster in his shit too. So it's like the fucking, to be able to relay that is like, everything audio visual is fucking next level coming from Trey. Like, just like letting people know, like, our team is fucking stellar.
Yeah. I undoubtedly believe that Danny is the best emo person.
I believe that too.
Undoubtedly.
Well, and he also is always trying to like improve it too.
Yeah. And I think Trey's the fucking most Hall of Fame photographer of all time. I mean,
Facts.
People are going to be looking at him 100 years from now in his book being like, what the fuck did Trey Speed do?
Well, also he just captured the golden era of fucking old school.
Exactly.
Yeah.
Like, that's how I feel. I feel like, Tyler Seelover, he's the same way. He's like the fucking world's best engineering, whatever, operations guy of all time.
When Tyler thinks like I'm upset with him, I try to remind him I want nothing to do with his job. I'm like, bro, you need to keep doing it because I don't want to fucking ever do it.
Yeah. We're out here just trying to solve the puzzle.
Yeah, bro, come on.
Yeah.
I'm not even sure where we go from here.
I guess like that, kind of to wrap it up, back full circle. That's what they were talking about, is they want their entire squad to be on the level. They want to look at their guys as to being the best guys in the industry, no matter what they're in, So
it's just a room full of killers. And if people don't raise up, then they just can't stay on the boat.
Yeah.
Stay on the train, where the fuck it is. So, I mean, at the end of the day, like, everyone has to level up at the same time. Like, I mean, it's required. And here's the other thing is, I want to be here. I'm telling you, like, I was resistant. I don't think you guys understand. I was resistant to an office. I fought it. But then I was so fucking busy. I was running 3 accounts. I was doing all this like, I needed people. They were like my other executives, and then people were like forcing me to get an office. I was in my house for 5 years by myself, running all of that social media, creating all that stuff, doing all the stuff with the vendors. Like, I didn't have anybody, and I didn't want anybody, but it just got too big. Like, I needed help, but I was so resistant. Because this is my own, to be somewhere at a certain time and have to be, drove my brain crazy. But to build something like we're building now with all these different businesses, it's required and it's exciting and it's fun. And that right there makes all the difference in the world. So it's pretty exciting and fun.
Fuck yeah.
All right, we done?
Yeah.
I mean, I don't know where to go from here. Yeah,
I feel
think
like
it's
we
good.
just threw out some major sauce.
Yeah, I just think I don't even know what we're going to call this episode. It's fucking fire all over the place.
Yeah.
It's fucking fire extinguisher.
Fuck yeah. The Fire Extinguisher podcast.
All right, you guys, look out for the book, How to Build Confidence and Win at Life by your boy Corey G. We are finishing the audiobook over the next few weeks. We'll drop it out here soon. You can get it with the XL Stack over at Max Effort Muscle for free right now. Signed. Brought to you by MaxEffortMuscle.com, and this is Roundtable. I'm your boy Corey G, at Small Arms Danny, at Trey Speed, and the graphic gangster himself, Cole Susak. We are out.